Alright, as requested, I'm doing a how to play video of Mage Knight Dungeons. I originally had a fancy script. I've actually tried writing it and recording this a couple times. I said, screw it, I'm going back and doing it live. So, playing Mage Knight Dungeons. It's a dungeon crawling version of Mage Knight. What do you need? Well, first things you need is a playmat, or a play area. You can get one from the original Mage Knight Dungeons starter. Pyramid starter set, which is the last version to come out. Or some of the Dungeon Builders kits have the tiles in the back. Or you can go to the Mage Knight database, and as you see here under templates, and I believe other templates, and underneath there are printouts for maps. But for now, we're using the placemat. Placemat's a completely different thing. Placemat for the original Mage Knight Dungeons starter. I like it. I like its look a little bit better than Pyramids. But yeah, so we're gonna do on this side. It's got two sides. Where's it going at? It's map 1 or map 2. But this is the first side that came up. Next up, we need the rulebook. Mage Knight Dungeons. We're gonna go with Pyramids because, like I said, it's the latest edition. And we need a powered abilities card. You don't have these? Cool. Guess what? Here's the where to click it for the Mage Knight database to get your rules. Next, we need our tokens. You need 3 treasure chests, 6 tokens, 4 weak, and 2, I think it's standard. And then your entrance exit tokens. And for the level up tokens here, you can either use the tokens, or if you're like me who has a bunch of dice games, just use some chess X dice. These are for marking what level your heroes are at. Now, unfortunately, these are not on the Mage Knight database. I'm going to try to... Well, not try. I'm going to probably upload these to the Mage Knight Facebook page. Scan them in, I'll upload them. And if you want, normally, you bring 4 weak and 2 standard to throw into the pool. You can replace 1 weak with a tough, if you wish. This tough token has seen much better days. I think this either came in the booster packs, or again, it came in this pack. I'm guessing those are the uniques. It's been a while since, obviously this is brand new. Not that I'm not going to open it, because I will open these to scan these in. However, I noticed the Mage Knight Pyramids tokens have different point values. These are your wandering monster tokens. They have different point values than what came originally in the Mage Knight Dungeon starter. So I'll try to upload those separately. But yes, your tokens, you need 6 wandering tokens, 4 weak, 2 standard. Replace 1 weak with a tough. I think there might be a unique one. There might just be this. I don't remember. I haven't opened up the other pack yet. And then your entrance and exit token. And either level up markers or dice. Dice you don't plan on rolling, by the way. So probably keep these as a separate color. And your treasure chests, which, again, are not on the Mage Knight database, but I'll try to make a chart of what each style is supposed to represent. Lastly, well, not lastly, second to last, you need models. You need 100 points of monsters. So usually it goes into a mage spawn pool. I think you can use any model you want. And then heroes. How you determine which you hero are is by, on the starting point on the dial, next to where the damage would be, there's a little circle that shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And instead of using the standard point value on the base, underneath on the bottom of the model is levels. So the 1 next to the damage on the base actually is your level. So that, Gideon Longblade at level 1 is 26 points. And so we'd set his dial to level 1. So 100 points of heroes, 100 points of mage spawn. Now you can do something like this where you just bring a bunch of garbage weak spawn, mage spawn. But if your opponent shows up and they're like, cool, here's my mage spawn. And they bring a couple beefy guys. They're like, oh, hey, I grabbed all your weak mage spawn first, so now you have to fight my strong stuff. So, balancing effect there when you're playing against opponents. Another neat thing about heroes is if you don't have enough heroes or you want to play with something else, you can grab a normal Mage Knight model. Whenever they would level up, they instead heal to full. This is actually the limited edition Squire Thomas. Thomas. But yes, so you can always add in normal Mage Knight models. I think you have to do non-mage spawn. normal Mage Knight models, as long as they are the individual bases. So, no Cav, no Titans that I just knocked over, no Titans, and no multi-dial models. And the last thing you need is actually optional, an opponent. Wait, hang on, what? So, there's actually a really cool thing I've discovered coming back to Mage Knight, is there's solitaire rules for dungeons. Growing up, I was never a big fan of dungeons, because you're always competing against someone else in the dungeon, but under solitaire rules, that actually looks like it'd be a little bit more fun. Even converting solitaire rules into playing with multiple people controlling the same team, crawling through a dungeon. But for now, we're going to pretend as if we have an opponent for the Let's Play, the Learn to Play. We got our party of heroes. We got two different parties of heroes. We got our giant mage spawn pool from the two players. We got our treasure chests. We got our tokens. So, thing I forgot to mention, this game is played at 100 points, so 4 heroes here, based off the points on the bottom of their dials, is 100 points. You're supposed to bring a treasure chest for each hero you have. However, I don't know where all my treasure chests are. These are the 6 I have out right now, so we're just going to go with 6. And each person brings 4 weak and 2 standard, or, like I said, 1 tough wandering monster token. Players roll off. First player wins. They place a treasure chest first, so they come into the pool. They grab a treasure chest. They make sure the top dial is blank. Then they grab the dial on the second half, spin it until it's random, because I have to grab one that's different. You can see inside there's actually stats and dials, or stats shown on that do things. So then they take that, and then they come over to the map, and they have to be at least 2 tiles away from an entrance. So an entrance would be the open spot here, 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 and here. So you take that, and and the tiles are separated by these dotted white lines on this really glare-friendly mat. And when I mean glare-friendly, I mean, like, as you can see, it loves the glare. So you have to place it so that the three front squares are open to the treasure chest, because its front arc is, yep, 1, 2, 3. But it has to be 2 tiles away from an entrance, so you can't place it here or here. You can only place it here. So that square is open, that square is open, that square is open, and it's still on this side of the line, so it's on this tile. Then you place as many treasure chests, or that's first player's treasure chest. Then second player will come along and place a treasure chest until either A, you have all the tiles that can have a treasure chest have placed a treasure chest that are not doubling up. You cannot double up a tile, so you cannot put another treasure chest like right there. This tile already has a treasure chest. So you want to place up, each player gets to place 2 treasure chests, or as many as they can fit if you're playing with a smaller tile map. Alright, fun fact about map 1. You can actually only place 2 treasure chests, because this is a possible entrance tile. There's 1, 2. Possible entrance map tile. 1, 2. 1, 2. So literally it's these 2 center map tiles, this hallway and this map tile, can have a treasure chest. Now, casually, like, it can go here, or actually it can go there, but casually I would probably, like, hey, because it's a little weird in the rules. It says in step 4 it has to be two tiles away from a possible entrance. I would allow you to place all 4 in a casual game. I mean, obviously this is gonna be casual, it's not a tournament setting. Not that I can even find the tournament rules online, because this had tournaments too. I have a few limited edition monsters from it, but for now we're just gonna go with how the book says, and there's only 2 out of the possible 4 capable of place treasure chests out of our pool of 6. So next we place our wandering monster tokens. I assume that they're placed in the pool face down, and you're supposed to randomize them up. There's technically supposed to be 12 here, but I just only pulled out 6, because you only put 6 wandering monster tokens on the table, or on the map. So no point in pulling out 12 for the example. So first player takes a wandering monster token and places it in a tile with a treasure chest. Player 2 will take another wandering monster token and place it in a tile with a treasure chest. Now you keep placing wandering monster tokens until you've placed a maximum number of 3 wandering monster tokens each. However, So you start off placing it on the same tile as a treasure chest. It can't be the same square as a treasure chest, but it can be on the tile. And the treasure chest tile can have multiple wandering monster tokens. You cannot place it in a possible entrance tile or an adjacent one. So guess what? We only get 4 wandering monster tokens on this paper mat, as per the book. So if you want to play with that, either house rule it so you can be adjacent, or just play with a bigger map. That's interesting. I don't remember the game being this restrictive. So our leftovers from our token pool, because we actually can't put all our stuff on. Now first player chooses an entrance. They grab one of these arrow tiles. They actually have multiple colors on each side, so it is possible to play with more than 2 players in this game. It's possible to play with as few as 1, as I said in the beginning. So we'll take the yellow one, and we're not going to put it here because we'll talk about that in a little bit. We're going to place first player 1's entrance over here. Now player 2 then takes, the second player takes his arrow token and places the exit. So player 2 is going to go, okay, well, if you're not going to take the hard spot getting in, we're going to make it a hard spot getting out. The reason why player 2 does this is because this map is larger than 6 tiles. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So half the dungeon would be a different setup. If it was half the size of this dungeon, player 1's entrance would, or player 1's exit would be the same as player 2's entrance. So if player 2's entrance is here and player 1's entrance is here, they would have to escape out each other's ends. So player 1, but since it's a large dungeon, player 1 places his entrance, player 2 places the exit, then player 2 places his entrance, and then player 1 goes back and goes, okay, well, your exit's over here. And that's where you determine where your heroes come on, where his heroes come on, and where his heroes need to run out of the dungeon with treasure chests. Starting the game, each player places their heroes at each entrance. Then you get 1 action per hero. An action can be moving and then spending movement speed points to attack and all that stuff. We'll go through that. Or choosing a wandering monster token, or if there's a mage spawn on the table or monster, you can choose to activate that. However, you cannot activate any mage spawn or any wandering monster tokens until all your heroes on the table. And you get one action per hero. I think I might have already said that. So the first thing you would do is you would look at your hero. Ganon Longblade has a speed of 8, and so he goes on the table moving 8. 1, 2, 3, 5. So he's spent 5 speed points. Now he can either go 6, 7, or he can go at a diagonal of 7. Why would a diagonal? Why that's the same amount of speed points? Well, why would that be? There are reasons for doing that. You know, if there's a model in the way, you could still bypass it. It just takes the 2 speed points to get past it. So 5, 6, 7. Ganon, however, cannot enter this square because, as you see, it's got the 2 there. That means it takes 2 speed points to get into the rubble, and that counts as hindering terrain, I believe, for line of sight and shooting purposes and like stealth and abilities and all that. So he can't move there. He only moves a 7, and he has to stop. And then the rest of his party will move on, and then player 2 will move all their party on because they still cannot activate mage spawn because they're not all on the table. Both parties are now on the table. Then it goes back to player 1. Now he gets to choose. Does he want to activate heroes, or does he want to activate a mage spawn token? So player 1's going to move a mage spawn token up. Mage spawn tokens have 4 speed points, so we'll actually go like that. So he doesn't hit the body pile of bones that slows down its speed. The moment it enters that tile, you flip it over, you read its numbers, and you roll dice to see how many monsters spawn. So this is a weak monster token. You roll 2d6. Got a 10. As much as I like these old school Mage Knight dice, they are really hard to see. I should probably go back over and repaint the pips, especially that one. I think all the paint fell off the pips. Anyway, 10. A 10 on 2d6 on the weak monster token is 2. So you've got your dice column, your number of monsters, and the points it requires. So 10 is 2 mage spawn at 30 points. So first player is going to come over. He's going to come grab a stalking skeleton and a deep spawn. That's 13 points and 70 points. That's 30 points. So then he will place them there, and then the mage spawn are placed. So you pull the wandering monster token, you pull it off the table or off the map, and you continue. However, when you place the mage spawn, you can either place it here, any adjacent. One mage spawn always has to take up the first token. Now, if a hero had moved into the tile instead of the mage spawn, the hero could continue its movement after the mage spawn had been placed. If you do not have enough points to equal the mage spawn, for example, like if you find a tough token and nobody brought enough models, you can then figure out the closest point value capable of getting to it, either through one monster or two. I believe it says you're supposed to talk with your opponent about that. The player choose the mage spawn closest to the point value without exceeding the value. So, if it calls for, like the tough one calls for 2 monsters and 120 points, well, you would grab these two because it's 2 mage spawn as close to 120 points as possible. You don't go over the number of monsters. You can probably go less if you had, the gatekeeper. Monsters are placed. Player 1 still has 3 activations left. So instead, for his next activation, he's going to activate a mage spawn. So the front arc of any hero with a 90-degree arc is the first 3 squares in front of it. Same thing with monsters. There are no models out I have available right now. Oh, Geddon. There we go. Geddon has a front arc of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because he has the 180-degree arc. So the Stalking Skeleton will then spend one speed point to move up 1 square, and then every attack can spend 4 speed points. So yes, unlike normal Mage Knight, you can still move and fight. You can still move and do things. Charge just makes your attack free, I believe. So Stalking Skeleton spends 1 speed point out of a 6 moving forward, and then 4 more to attack. And he is going to attack the hero in front of him, and just like standard Mage Knight combat, it's your attack value. His is 7 against the thief, or whatever that character's name is, of 15, so it needs an 8. And I rolled a 7. We're going to grab better looking dice for the camera. So he fails, and that's it for activation number 2. Then the hero is going to go on to their 3rd activation. So we're going to go with... oh man, he screwed up. Should have sent him forward first instead of activating all the monsters. Whatever. So Geddon's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he's just going to look at the trap. So when you look at the trap of a treasure chest, it costs 0 points. And if it's a bad trap, he can keep moving on because he only spent 2, 3, 4 speed points. Or 5 if that counts as 2. I can't remember. So I got to set the camera down to spin that. Oh, actually, to determine how it is, first you roll a d6 to see how many times you click the top dial. 5. I give the top dial 5 clicks. Alright, so we activate the trap, and as we can see from the picture I take here, because this camcorder hates taking close-up shots, it's a 12 to activate. It's got an attack of 10 and damage 3. So any hero that tries to unlock it and fails will get hit for an attack with 10 and 3 damage. So your opponent will roll 2d6 if it fails to activate it fails to open the trap, and then if he succeeds on hitting, the trap will deal 3 damage to the hero trying to open it. So looking at the trap, it costs 0 speed points, and let's see, that was 2, 3, 4. He's just going to move back 1 because he needs to make space for somebody who actually knows how to activate traps. He swings sword. He bashes heads. He doesn't open traps. So now we're going to want to move our rogue through, our Armin, yes, through Bessa. But it requires passing through her. Again, probably should have moved her instead of one of mage spawn. Normally, when you pass through a model, you count the 3 hexes, or it costs 3 speed points plus the exit tile. So, like for example, if Matteo here wants to move through, he'd be 3, 4. But since he's going at an angle, you add an extra movement speed point, so he goes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's going to come up, and then he's actually in the front arc of the treasure chest, so next turn he can start disabling the trap. And then we'll just move up our last hero here. And then that is player... Nope, actually we can't, because the 2 activations were mage spawn, fight, and then those 2. So player 1 is done. Player 2 can do shenanigans. So first thing player 2 is going to do is move a mage spawn here, spawn some mage spawn, and get in the way. We're not going to go through all the combat. The combat, again, is the same as standard Mage Knight. It's easily available, the rules. You look up the power abilities card, you figure that out. So we're just going to say the heroes kill all their monsters for this example. Now, the hero that gets the killing blow gets the XP. So say Geddon gets the kill on this ooze, acid ooze, he'll get 18 points, 18 XP. Once he hits 100, he can go up to level 2. And if he hits level 2, you would then click his dial up to level 2 and fully heal him up to level 2, and then you either place one of those little tokens on them, or in this case, we'll put a level 2 marker next to him. So that's how you level up. Every 100 XP you level up. Or, again, if you have a non-hero Mage Knight character running around in the party, he will fully heal. Something I forgot to mention when also list building, you can purchase a hero at level 1 or level 2. Level 3, 4, and 5, you have to earn your way through the dungeon or through multiple dungeons if you're doing kind of like a little campaign setting. I don't think in tournaments you got to keep your levels as you progress through a tournament. Again, can't find the tournament rules online because the Mage Knight database, interestingly enough, I won't say ironically, interestingly enough, doesn't have the Mage Knight Dungeon tournament rules. I know they existed at one point. I played in them. My dad ran them. So, he kills that hero, or kills that mage spawn, he kills that mage spawn. The enemy dead mage spawn go back into the pool. But make sure you separate your models per player. If you're not like me who has everything, you're bringing your own monsters and your own, get the cup out of here. Your own monsters and your own monsters. Each player will want to keep them separate for their own collections. You don't want to steal someone's models. You're not that kind of a person, are you? Are you? Mage spawn are dead. You have a treasure chest to deactivate. How do you deactivate a treasure chest? Well, first you need to be in its front arc and adjacent. So Armin here and Armin has the sneak attack special ability. With the sneak attack ability, you will add 2 to your number to successfully disarm a trap. It also does kind of the standard stuff with sneak attack from the normal game where, you get extra bonuses for hitting somebody in the rear arc. Rear arc does count in this game. But for disarming a trap, you spend 3 speed points, you roll 2d6, and you have to beat the disarming number, which on this trap is a 12. However, again, Armin gets +2 to his die roll. Also, if you spend 6 speed points, you can try to disarm it. You get another +2. So either you can take your time to disarm it, or you can try 2 quick attempts. So we're going to spend 6 speed points with Armin here to try and disarm the trap. So he gets +2 for sneak attack, and then +2 for taking his time. So +4. So I only need to roll a 6 on 2d6. And I get it with a 7. I didn't edit out a failure at all. I don't know what you're talking about. So then, you would then pick up the treasure chest. Uh-oh. This is one I need 2 hands to open. Then, picks up a treasure chest. Well, your party picks up a treasure chest. As you can see in there, on screen, the treasure chest has a +1 to movement, +1 on sword, +1 on sword, +1 on attack, +1 on defense, 725 gold, and is a potion. Potions are one-time use items, so you can give any hero in your party, you can expend this chest for all of its stats once. You keep the gold. So now that you have 725 gold, there's 1 treasure chest left. Say the other party gets it. So now you can both exit the dungeon because you have all the treasure chests gathered, or you can square off and try to steal their treasure chest. Oh yeah, and you actually have to show your opponent what's in the treasure chest to prove that it's actually not a trap, because there are some treasure chests that have trap numbers on them. Oh, or just to prove that, hey, this is actually the bonuses they get, and I keep dropping the treasure chest. Screw it. So yes, both players get a treasure chest, and then you can either safely exit the dungeon, or you can beat down for the prize. And fighting in the game is just like fighting against mage spawn and monsters. Some other notes to point out. You do get free spins, just like in Standard Mage Knight. So if I move up to this hero in the rear arc, they get a free spin. Unless you have sneak attack. If you have sneak attack, you don't get a free spin. This lady, Zenith. Oh my goodness, fantasy names. People. Zenithret. Lady? Yeah, that's a lady. Zenithret hits his rear arc, he doesn't get a free spin. Now again, you get to do breakaways and shenanigans, and I've lost the dice. Breakaways are roll a die on a 4, 5, or 6 you breakaway, on a 1, 2, or 3. Nope, but I can still get a free spin even against sneak attack. Did that wrong in one of my previous Mage Knight videos with the Mortis Dracona. And again, it takes 4 movement points to attack. So in this case, Zenithred could actually go into his rear arc and then attack. So she has an 8 against his 15. She gets a +1 for +1 or +2 for the rear arc. I'm not going to look that up right now. And then sneak attack. So you would do the same thing with combat, and you got your 4. You can only attack once, for the record. So if you have a movement speed of like 10, and you get within their rear, or you start in combat like this, right? You started off combat. Well, I have 8 points on getting. I'm going to attack twice. Nope. You only get 1 attack. You either attack or you shoot. For example, Morg Blood Spiller. Oh my goodness. Like Morg Blood Spiller has a range of 8. So he can shoot 8. You cannot shoot into combat. You cannot heal into combat, because Morg Blood Spiller has magic healing, so he could heal Zenithred if she was over here, but since she's next adjacent, he can't heal her. Likewise, Oracle Matteo cannot heal Gideon, because he is in base contact. They're in combat. You can't heal somebody in combat. I think that's kind of weird, because I did that all the time in World of Warcraft. But World of Warcraft came out after Mage Knight. Another thing I had to check is Zenithred attacks Gideon in the front arc and misses. Gideon, since he's not demoralized, gets to attack Zenithred back for free, no speed point cost. So yes, if you attack, you got to be prepared for a counterattack, which is why someone like Zenithred or even Armin attacking somebody in the rear is great, because you don't get to attack through your rear arc. So yes, if you attack somebody in this game, they do get a free counterattack, unless they are demoralized. If they are demoralized, they don't get a counterattack. So Mage Spawn get a counterattack, which actually would have done it over here with the Stalking Skeleton, but I forgot. I had to look that up. So yes, you spend 4 speed points to attack, and then the surviving character, if they're not demoralized, get a counterattack, a free counterattack. So heroes fighting heroes may not be the smart thing to do unless you're really trying to steal their treasure chest or you have a bunch of sneak attacks. I'm not going to go through all the various trap types, but if you do spring a trap, like if you open up the treasure chest and it says trap, you automatically spring the trap that was on top. So it'll spit out either mage spawn, it'll hurt people, all that jazz. So before we go to combat, we have an opportunity to player 2 has a treasure chest, player 1 has a treasure chest. Now it's not the hero that picked it up, it goes to the player. The player then at the start of his turn, his or her turn, they can choose to use, if it's a potion, use up the stats of this to give a hero any bonuses to their combat. So, they fail to hit each other somehow. Actually, it'd be closer to like the two warriors are squaring off. I'm going to use my potion on my turn, and then on their turn, they're like, okay, well, I'm going to use my potion on my turn. But you guys, both players polish off all the monsters. They're like, you know what? No, I have more gold than you. Player 1's treasure chest had 750 gold. Player 2's treasure chest has 200 gold. So he's just going to leave the dungeon. He's going to make his way as quickly as possible to exit the dungeon. Player 2 can, or they can go, no, we need to steal his treasure chest. And they're going to go chase down player 1. Stealing a treasure chest. Or even just eliminating here. So Armin gets caught by the enemy party and gets bullied to death. Well, if I have more treasure chests than I have heroes available left on the table or in my party, so I have 4 heroes. Say I have 5 treasure chests. One of them I'll close the treasure chest. I will not spin the lower dial, but I'll spin the top dial in a random spot or to blank, and then set it where Armin was. So that's what happens when a hero dies and you have 2 mini treasure chests. Now there's only 2 on this table. But yeah, and then you can also make an attempt to steal someone's treasure chest. So, stealing a treasure chest is similar to capturing a Mage Knight, capturing a model in Standard Mage Knight. You go and make your attack. You compare your attack to the opponent's defense, giving them +2 to their defense. So, Cerelia, trying to steal Armin's treasure chest, has an 8 against his 17 at level 1, so you would need to roll a 9. And then if you succeed, if he has a treasure chest assigned to him. So if you were I'm going to use my potion on Armin this turn. Or if you have, 4 treasure chests, then you would steal the treasure chest from him. If he does not have an assigned treasure chest, then you will not get to steal his treasure chest. Again, you only assign a treasure chest to a hero at the start of the turn. So a combat effective treasure chest, you probably want to give it to your warrior, or even your healer. So let's say the party didn't, one hero party got in the way of trying to stop the other hero party, and Geddon makes it off the table. Well, whenever a hero leaves the table, you can store up to 2 treasure chests. So Geddon's going to leave with the 1 that we have. If I had the 4 for one for each hero, you could leave with 2, leaving only 2 left on the table. Forgot to mention that when a treasure chest is dropped after a hero is killed, and you set it to the blank on the top, which we'll grab this one here. You still have to reactivate it as if it's normal. So you roll a d6, you click at that top one that many times, then you have to spend time deactivating the trap. The inside stays the same, but the trap reactivates and re-randomizes. Ending the game. Either there's no more heroes on the table. Heroes cannot leave until they have a treasure chest. So either all the heroes escape or exit, or they just get killed. Or eliminated, I guess is the word they use. They don't say killed, they say eliminated. Once you are done with that, you do not compare points. You compare the gold in the treasure chest. So for example, player 2, or the second player, has a treasure chest that has 200 gold in it. Player 1 has a treasure chest with 725 gold in it. The first player wins the game, even if he loses 3 heroes, even if those 3 heroes are eliminated, and he escapes with 1 treasure chest, and player 2 escaped with 3 treasure chests that were all 200 gold, and has all his heroes, that's still only 600 gold to 725. So the randomness of a treasure chest can make or break, can win you the game or not. And that's essentially how to play Mage Knight Dungeons. Hopefully that wasn't too quick. I think I got everything. I think the only thing I forgot was Snake Eyes and Boxcars do the same thing as standard Mage Knight. Natural 2s deal a point of damage to you. Natural 12s deal an extra point of damage that goes through toughness and invulnerability. There is no pushing in this version. There's no, I'm going to activate and put a token next to it. Nope. You can keep activating the same hero over and over and over again. But that's because you also have Mage Spawn to activate. So you don't really get an opportunity to play with or require the pushing abilities. There are other repair abilities like healing that are in the treasure chest, some other potions. Those are treated just like healing, where if it's assigned to a hero, you use it that turn, or as long as you're not in combat. Oh, I lied. You can actually use dragons in Mage Knight Dungeons pyramids. So I've never done that. I'm not going to explain that rule. I'm sure that is on the Mage Knight database. But I did not know that. I was going to the back of the book. There are rules for playing with a lone wolf hero, so you only play with 1 hero. It'd probably be your 2 warriors. There are rules for having 4 or more players. There's the solitaire rules. But for now, that was just doing what a standard Mage Knight, what a typical setup examples would be for Mage Knight Dungeons. Hopefully I wasn't too rushed with this. I was trying to, I'm winging it. That's the word. I was trying to think of another word, and that was a completely different thought process. I was winging it. So, got to take unlocking treasure chests, fighting mage spawn, moving mage spawn, heroes fighting. Not a complete example, but I'm not gonna read out the rule book for you guys, right? Like I'm just showing you examples of how it all works, and I did not realize how little you can put on the actual mats that they come with. It's like, oh, you have to place 6 Wonder Monster tokens. No, you don't. You can't. You can place 4. Well, I want to place 6. I need to place 4 treasures. No, you can only place 2. That's a little weird. I wonder if that was updated in FAQ. I don't think the Mage Knight database has the FAQ. I also don't have it on the table with me. This is all I got. But yes, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful to anyone who wants to get into Mage Knight Dungeons. Again, if you don't have this map or the tile set from the Mage Knight Dungeon Builders Kit, they have stuff online. And if you have other dungeon crawling games like me, who has like Shadows of Brimstone, you could probably use one of those. You'll see Mage Knight Dungeons coming up in the future. I'm probably mostly going to use solitaire rules because I don't like the player versus player setup of it. It also makes it a lot easier for getting games in when I don't have opponents. But yes, again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in more Mage Knight content. Bye.